Hey everybody, it's Christina Holloway here, and today we're going to talk about how to set boundaries and in particular how to say no to nonsensical requests. It's not fun, and a lot of times we say yes just to get the person off our back or to just get it finished and off our plate, or we just don't want to deal with the disagreement or somebody being persistent and pushing back on us. So today we're going to talk about 3 ways to set boundaries and how you can say no without alienating somebody. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to get out of doing some major requests. In fact, we're going to talk about the times that you might want to say yes after you've asked a few questions. This framework is intended for you to feel comfortable saying no in certain situations without the guilt and saying yes in other situations when you realize it's going to work for you as long as you can get it to work in your favor. Okay, so let's get started. Number 1, answer the question with a question. They're going to ask you a yes or no question because you want to say no. However, it's a little more nuanced than that. So they're going to say, can you do these spreadsheets by the end of the week and hand them back over to us? In which case, your answer is going to be, why are you asking me to do this? Or why isn't Mary working on it? That's usually her responsibility. Or that's an odd request. I have a full plate. Did you run this by my boss? So you're not actually answering yes or no, but you are asking for quantifying information so that you can make a more informed decision. So as you can see, it's actually, I need some more information before I agree to do it. So it's not a hard no, it's a soft no. Why is that important? It's going to help you feel comfortable answering the question with further information, and it allows you to not feel so guilty, especially if you have a tendency to immediately say, no, I'm not going to help you with that, right? It doesn't feel good. And sometimes we are saying that to people that we like and we trust and we respect. So in order for us to say no and for it to feel like it's meaningful and well thought out and well considered, we have the opportunity to ask for qualifying information. Please give me more information about the situation before I decide if I'm going to cooperate with you or if I'm going to set boundaries around what I can and cannot accept. Again, we're assuming that you can. You have the ability to say no to this request, but you have a hard time saying no because you're afraid it's going to make you look bad. So this is a really good way for you to say no in a soft way without alienating the people around you. Number 2, create a system for your boundaries. So you don't want to say no to high quality assignments. So how do you know what's a high quality assignment and what isn't? First, we're going to leverage some of those questions on how to make a soft no, and we're going to ask more information about what's involved and why you were drawn into the project. Why do you guys need me to do these spreadsheets? What's the value in me doing them? The answer could be, you're really good at pulling data together and you have an ability to create spreadsheets that others can read and interpret quickly and easily. Oh, well, all right. So first of all, that hit me right in the ego. So I might just say yes because I appreciate being told that I do excellent work. But also, I now can understand exactly why they want me to be participating in a simple request. Now, if it's a habit that somebody constantly asks me, can you do this administrative work? My associate keeps wandering off, and it's easier and faster if you can get it done. First of all, you can explain that that's outside the boundaries of my position and my responsibilities, and I no longer am responsible for creating that type of work. Now, you're going to have to explain to me why you're not able to circle back with your associates who keep wandering off. Where are they going? What are they doing? Why are they walking away from you every time you try to give them something to do? Maybe you need to have a bigger conversation with them about their responsibilities. But coming to me as an easy answer, because I usually say, yes, I'll just get it done really quick, is no longer going to be the solution to this problem. So making sure you have a system for your boundaries, which is, I will say yes to requests that are one-off requests, and sometimes it's an emergency or they need my level of expertise. That's fine. But if they're repeatedly asking me to do the same administrative tasks I used to do, and they're just a little bit lazy or not showing enough initiative on their own, then we do want to redirect them back to solving their own problem, which is I have to be honest with you. This is outside my responsibilities. I don't feel comfortable continuing to create this type of workaround, especially when there are people who are available to do this. And it's appropriate for you to ask those people. Did I say no? I did not. I explained from an emotional point of view how ethically I don't feel comfortable with these requests anymore. So you're now explaining that somewhere inside, I'm starting to feel uncomfortable with you coming to me. It's usually a great way to let a person know that they've crossed a line and they've gone into a boundary that is inappropriate. So you're always welcome to, again, give a soft no that's a little bit more firm. This is what we're learning here, is that if you're feeling uncomfortable with the way you answer some of these requests, or you're so uncomfortable and can't think of a way to say no, that you're constantly saying yes to work that's not taking you forward or contributing to your career development, it's keeping you back at doing administrative work that you've outgrown, you have to find a way to say no. So this way of creating boundaries for yourself and this way of giving a soft no, a medium no, or a hard no is going to allow you to feel empowered in the way you answer this question. So your soft no is, you're going to have to give me more information before I agree to do this project. It doesn't seem like it's inside my responsibilities. To your medium no, kind of like a hard-boiled egg. You got a soft-boiled egg, a medium-boiled egg, and a hard-boiled egg is how you're going to say no. So you're looking at your medium-boiled egg, which is these are my boundaries, a little bit willing to talk to you, but if it's persistent, I'm going to have to tell you that inside the structure of my position, I'm no longer responsible for helping you here. And while I like doing it as a favor to you, this cannot be a habit, because once it becomes a habit, it holds me back. What does that mean? I no longer feel comfortable helping you in this space. You haven't created a solution for your own problem. You've now turned it into my problem. So you don't have to answer the question that way. You certainly do want to get that message across. You do want to use your own words. You do want to practice how you're going to hold a firmer boundary, something that's a little more firm, because we're getting closer and closer to having very strong boundaries around what you will say yes to and what you will say no to. Number 3, negotiate for yourself. This is where you're going to find a better way to say your hard no or your hard-boiled egg. So a person still could come to you and say, we know that you have experience creating these spreadsheets. We know that you've moved into a new role where you're no longer responsible for this administrative work. However, we're now coming to the conclusion of a really big project. The person that we've been relying on is either out of pocket, maybe on an extended leave, and we really need you to bring this across the finish line. Now, you're not involved in that project at all. It's no skin off your teeth whether you do it or not. And you could actually just say to yourself, I could help, but I don't need to help. But you're going to explain to them, my hard boundary here is that this is way outside my role. So I'm more inclined to tell you, I'd really rather not do it. Can you give me a reason why I would want to really participate and help you, especially in this particular situation? In which case they might come back to you and tell you, well, that spreadsheet needs to be presented to the executive vice president at the end of the week. And we also need somebody who's going to be the point person to walk them through that spreadsheet. Well, that sounds like something I might want to be interested in doing. So now that I've asked all my questions, I've explained what my boundaries are and why I'm hesitant to participate, I've now asked on the third part, what's in it for me? What am I going to get out of it if I help you this one time? So the follow-up to that is, look, I would love to help you. I'm not so sure this is inside my responsibilities. I do have a very heavy workload. I'm going to need to follow up with my supervisor before I can tell you yes or no. What does that do? You can give a hard no. You certainly can go back to your boss and you can say, look, they're asking me if I can participate. And your boss very well could come back and say, no, they do this every time. We always know the executive vice president needs a presentation. We always know somebody's got to work on that spreadsheet. You're going to get more context. And so your boss can tell you, look, you have to be able to go back to them and tell them, no, this is not an option. No matter how sweet they make the deal look, tell them no. In which case you can go back and say, look, I had a hard conversation with my boss. We tried to make it work, but I'm not going to be able to participate this time. You might want to talk over there to Mary or Sue or Bob. and see what they can do for you. But this is not something that I can pick up today. That's your hard no. You also can say, I already know if I take this past my boss, he's going to tell me, no, I can't do it. He's going to tell me, I already have 3 other things that I also have to prepare for that same meeting, and I have to prepare on my end my own presentations. That's not anything that I can help you with this time. Which means you now have expressly explained to them, there's no wiggle room here, and there's no way that I can participate. Now, the what's in it for me, let's say it played out a different way. You're going to get visibility in front of this executive vice president. Yeah, you're going to get to do your best work, and you're going to get to show them what you're capable of. We really need to leverage your expertise here. I know this is an unusual request, but we really need your help. You can go back to your boss, and your boss can say, I don't care. Figure it out for yourself, right? Which empowers you to make your own decision. So you can't really rely on your boss to help you with your hard no. So in this case, so that you don't feel the guilt, you might want to ask them, if I do the spreadsheet for you, do I get to present it to the executive vice president? So what's in it for me? Now, that person could very well say, no, you don't get to present it. We're presenting it. It's our project. In which case you can say, well, then no. Why would I want to help you? If you're not going to give me anything in return, why am I going to help you? Why am I going to work with you? What does this do for you mentally? It gives you a really good way to say no without feeling too much guilt, because you've asked for something in return, which is fair. You've asked for something that was fair, to say, well, if you're going to ask me to bring this into conclusion, then I'd like to present it. And they say, no, we want all the glory. Then you can clearly say, not this time. Now, they could very well also tell you, yeah, you know what? You can present to the executive vice president, and you can get in front of them, and you can bring the whole project to completion. We're so desperate for your help that we'll give you whatever you want. In which case, you can go back to them and say, okay, let me see what I can do. Let me rearrange some of my projects. Let me talk to my boss, and let me get back to you. Don't give them a yes right away. Go back an hour later and say, I can help you. Or even 30 minutes later or 15 minutes later. Just don't do it right away. Call them back and say, yeah, I had a conversation with my boss. We're all good. Let me get started on that right away. I deferred some of my projects. And in the meantime, can you set up a call with that executive vice president? I'd like to introduce myself so they know who's going to be presenting at the end of the week. So you can see how I took you from starting out with a very soft no, which is asking further questions of why you're asking me to do this, to having a medium no, which is let me confer with my supervisor, or I just don't feel comfortable, to having a hard no, which is there anything in it for me? No, there isn't. Then no, I'm not helping you. Which it sounds a little too, maybe it's probably not something that you feel comfortable doing. However, our questions here and our answers and the framework by which we funnel you through these yes and no answers is more intended for you to feel comfortable saying no. It isn't intended for the other person to feel comfortable accepting no. Who knows what they're going to do? It's an exercise in understanding your boundaries, your path, and your goals, and then feeling okay with saying no to anything that doesn't contribute to your success at the company. Okay, so that's it for today's video on how to say no and set boundaries around how you feel in terms of whether you feel guilty or you feel okay with saying your no. We practiced using a soft no, a medium no, and a hard-boiled no. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.